Hello, so today I'm going to talk about something that I really want to talk about, and that's the fact that there have been some rumblings going on in the Gentleman Bastard world. So I assume if you clicked on this video, you either are a hyper fan of the Gentleman Bastard series, or you are wondering why all these nerds are shouting so much over nothing. I will catch you up on what's been going on, as well as gush a little bit, because this is my favorite book series. So if you don't know, my favorite book series of all time was there 2 seconds ago, and now it's here. We have The Lies of Locke Lamora, which is book 1. Think Oliver Twist plus Ocean's 11 plus just the greatest humor of all time, amazing friendships, crazy shenanigans, a protagonist who is too theatrical and too smart for his own good. You could just steal, man. You could just be a really good thief, but instead you have to turn it into this great grand thing. There's ripple effects because of the choices that you made, and now we gotta clean that up a little bit. It's an amazing story. Book 2, Red Seas Under Red Skies, is we are now being blackmailed into being pirates. We don't know how to do that. We gotta figure that one out real quick. I love it just as much. And book 3, we are trying to rig an election, as well as there's a play happening. These books are a lot more than those tiny little synopsises, but just know that I love them dearly. Anyway, we've had a little bit of news, followed by a little bit of updates, followed by a quick tweet that started a whole storm. And I almost didn't make this video because we have very little information and there have been some very strong reactions off of the little information, so I didn't want to add too much to it. But in case you've seen some rumblings, but you don't understand the context, I will give that to you. Also, this is my favorite series and I don't get to talk, I don't get to talk about it in an organic, not inserting it into another video kind of way very often. So I want to talk about my favorite series with some other people who might also love this series and be excited. But the short version is the author, Scott Lynch, hinted that possibly book 4 might be coming soon, and we all lost our minds. Here's the long version. So these books have been published very far apart. Lynch is not a quick writer. Book 1, The Lies of Locke Lamora, was published in the year 2006. Book 2, 2007. That was great. Book 3, 2013. Book 4, maybe 2025? 2026? We'll see. So there are reasons why book 4 has taken so long to get to us. Lynch has had a lot going on in his personal life, which would be weird for me to share here in my space, right? He has a blog where he shares what he wants to share. I'll direct you to that, specifically to this blog post where he talks about his anxiety and what he's doing to get help. That blog post was posted in July of 2021. It'll be linked in the description. Then in June of 2022, Scott Lynch went on Twitter, said that the anti-anxiety medication has been working really well for him. He's back to writing and feeling good about what he's writing. So he announced that he is working on a set of Gentleman Bastard novellas and that they're going to be a bridge narrative, inessential but enriching, taking Locke and Jean from immediately after Republic of Thieves and taking them to immediately before Thorn of Emberlyn. I second-guessed myself and didn't want to finish that. Anyway, I was thrilled. A lot of us were thrilled. New content for this series that we love. Sounds amazing. Then this week, or I guess last week at the point that I'm filming this, last week, Del Rey Books posted a cover reveal on Twitter for a new cover for The Lies of Locke Lamora. It shows the crew walking through the streets of Camor. It's beautiful. The cover design and illustration are by Andrew Davis, and the art direction is David G. Stevenson. So that's the announcement that Del Rey Books posted and Scott Lynch retweeted. And that leads us to what has happened last week. And that's that I was reading through both of the posts, and a lot of the comments on those posts were asking, neato, cool, love it, what about book 4? Now, part of me understands this. I love this series so much, and I can't wait for book 4. And people who have been waiting on this series longer than I have, long time longer than I have, it's been a long wait. And while I tend to fall into the camp of authors don't owe us anything, if they've got stuff going on in their lives, if they have mental health things that they're working through, you know, take the time that you need, make the book right, and get it to us when you get it to us. I would much rather follow an author that takes 10 or even 15 years to put out the next edition in my favorite series, and when I get the book, every single word I soak in. It's the perfect next edition to my favorite story, and then I close it and I say, okay, I'll see you for book 5 when I'm 40. I would rather have that experience with a series that I love this much than to follow an author who posts, you know, all the time and their books are super hit or miss and I never know if I'm getting a great next edition to a series that I love. I want it to be something that I can finish and say, that was worth all the wait. So I'm fine with Scott Lynch taking exactly the amount of time that he needs, but I also understand the frustration of seeing yet another edition of the same book being announced again with no further news of, you know, the next installment of the series that I feel was made for me. I feel like the series was made with me in mind. And you don't get that experience very often. So anyway, a lot of people mentioned Nito. When's the next book in reply to these announcements? Lynch did end up replying to one by saying, we're going to have a lot more announcements for various stuff coming up. Let's just say that I didn't get new fancy author photos shot on a whim. So Lynch got new author photos. We all thought that it was because the novellas are coming. They look great. But then he said this in reply to asking about book 4. So the internet lost its mind, or at least this little section of the internet did. I did. Scott did have a little bit of fun with it when people started losing their minds. One person said this kind of emotional abuse should be forbidden by the Geneva Convention, and his response was, wait until you see what I did to the characters. But I do want to follow this up immediately by saying that when somebody did mention, hey, y'all are overreacting, stop it, calm down, Lynch agreed and said, yeah, please calm down a little bit. He said, we are working on stuff, but also cool it. So again, almost didn't make this video because I don't want to add to the noise, but this is my favorite series, so I really want to talk about it with other people that are excited. So all this to say, we are guaranteed that we're gonna get some novellas coming soon that will continue the story that we've been reading, and I can't wait. I think they're gonna be amazing. Scott Lynch writes some of my favorite prose and some of my favorite character work, so getting bridge stories that are going to carry us into the next story while we wait for that next story sounds like gold. It sounds like pure gold, and whenever they're released, I can't wait. But he also has heavily implied that book 4, at the very least, is making progress, that there's something happening. So I hope soon we'll get a release date announcement for the novellas, and I hope that following that, he'll also let us know how his progress on book 4 is going. If he answers and says, maybe 2026, 2027, hey, we'll have an approximate date, so I'll be thrilled. Plenty of books to read in the meantime, so I'm not trying to rush him to put out a book that he doesn't feel is the best that it can be, but I'm just really excited that we're getting more from this world. Whatever that looks like, I will read it, and then I'll read it again, and then I'll read it again. So, if you have heard me gush about this series once, twice, a million times, and you haven't quite picked it up yet, but you're interested, now might be a good time, because one, my friends and I are currently doing a reread through, well, reread for me. First time read for them. They had read The Lies of Locke Lamora at first, but they're completing the series with me now. So we're working on that right now. We've already talked about books 1 and 2 here on this channel. I'll leave those linked in the description as well as all the things that I showed on screen and read aloud. It'll all be linked in the description of the video. We've already, or most of us have already finished our, for me, reread, for them, first time read of The Republic of Thieves. So our discussion on Republic of Thieves should be coming, I think, in March. So if you've been waiting on that, it's coming soon. But if you haven't checked out the series before, but you want to, now's a great time because we have these discussions that we're currently doing, plus the novellas are coming, and I'm sure we're gonna keep discussing as those come out. We're all gonna be really excited to read it. And just know that the series is incredible and it's worth checking out. At least I think so. But whatever Lynch ends up announcing, whatever he ends up putting out, even if it's not an announcement for book 4 and it's all to do with the novellas, I'm gonna be thrilled because I get more content from my favorite series. I couldn't be happier about that. But anyway, I wanted to do a quick kind of, okay, here's here's what's happening, here's the foundation, here's what we've led up to, as well as just giving some of my thoughts and just a chatty video from a fangirl, I guess. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're excited, if you've heard about this, if you're interested in checking out the series, or if you already love the series and you're gonna check out the novellas when they're published, or whatever Lynch is doing. Chat with me more about it in the comments. I post videos when do I post? Every Tuesday and Thursday on this channel, and sometimes on Saturdays, as well as every Monday and Friday on the manga channel. I'll see you again soon. Bye.